Today I want to address an issue that doesn't get discussed often enough, especially in international discussions with regards to Israel. Is military occupation inherently bad? At first glance, it sounds like it's a straightforward issue, of course. But in reality, especially in the Middle East, it is a far more complex issue, and the recent plea of 6 Druze villages in Syria for Israel to remain in security control of the areas that they live in southern Syria is a perfect example of why this complexity cannot be ignored, especially today. And to add a historical perspective, America had a military occupation in Germany after defeating the Nazis. Not every occupation is bad. Sometimes it is needed in order to benefit the local population. And again, back in Germany, it was to allow the Germans to rebuild after the destruction of the disastrous Nazi regime. So the Druze villages in Syria, located near Israel's northern border, are in a desperate situation. They face a very real threat from ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Sunni jihadist terror groups taking over Syria. Groups that have no regard for minorities, no tolerance for diversity, and no respect for human life, despite them saying all the right words for Western politicians and to the press. The Druze in Syria know, as we know, that Israel's military presence is the only thing that would stand between them and a potential massacre and a horrific life. This is not the first time that we've seen this dynamic. Minority communities across the Middle East understand that Israel is a force of good and stability, the minorities. Without our presence, a vacuum is left that is filled by terror groups that then sow chaos, death, and destruction to the minorities that end up living there. As someone who served in the IDF in Gaza and southern Lebanon during the 1990s, I've seen firsthand the stark difference between areas under Israeli security control and areas then abandoned by the IDF, taken over by terror. Southern Lebanon, for example, the Christian Lebanese communities thrived when we, the IDF and Israel, maintained security there. When the IDF left in 2000, Hezbollah filled the void. And the consequences have been devastating for everyone who hoped for freedom and peace in southern Lebanon. Nope, all the Christian Lebanese had to run away to save their lives. One of the most famous is Brigitte Gabriel and her family. IDF reservist Brigadier General Amir Avivi, a respected voice on Israel's security issues, outlines 3 options for how Israel can deal with territories that surround us that potentially are a danger to us. Number 1, Arab self-rule, as has been the situation with Hamas in Gaza and the Palestinian Authority in Judea and Samaria, both organizations that lead regimes of terror and no freedom or democracy for their own populations. Option number 2, Israeli military occupation, which Israel tried in southern Lebanon as the United States tried in Iraq and Afghanistan. All failed because over the years, with military losses and casualties, the public stops their support, leading to governments pulling soldiers out and a return of those regions to terror. Number 3, full Israeli sovereignty with the establishment of Jewish communities together with an IDF military presence, which ensures stability, security, and the possibility for peaceful coexistence with those in those areas who want to live in peace with us. Let us be clear, the first 2 options have been tried and have failed catastrophically. Whether in Gaza, southern Lebanon, or anywhere else, pulling military out means creating a power vacuum that terror groups are eager to take over and then exploit. Iraq, Afghanistan, southern Lebanon, Gaza. Today, the fear isn't limited to minorities. Even the Sunni countries in the Middle East, like Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, they're all watching Syria in fear that the more Sunni jihadis will want to raise and topple their regimes as well. So the rise of Sunni militants is not just destabilizing Syria, it has the potential to spread like wildfire across the Middle East. In Judea and Samaria, we are already seeing Sunni militants openly fighting against Palestinian Authority officials, who they're also bad. This is no longer a localized conflict, it's a regional implosion potentially. Minorities are in grave danger, and even the less extreme Sunni regimes are living in fear of their more radical Sunni counterparts. The Middle East is becoming a battleground of Sunni versus Sunni and against all minorities, and Israel is the only force capable of creating a semblance of stability. This is why one of my messages during my recent visit to Washington, D.C., speaking with members of Congress and the Senate, was clear. An enlarged Israel is not just critical to protect Israelis and minorities who live in Israel, it's essential for protecting minorities across the region in the Middle East. The United States should not prevent Israel from expanding her borders. On the contrary, the United States should encourage Israel to expand her borders. Why? Because a strong, stable, enlarged Israel assists with regional stability and safety for those under our protection. That directly assists American foreign policy and interests in the Middle East. Israel is not just defending itself, it's defending the region against Sunni, Muslim, chaos, barbarism, terror, and the destruction of the social fabric of those societies. And that stability helps everyone, Jews, Christian, Druze, and yes, even moderate Sunni states trying to avoid collapse. The more the bad actors in the region fear Israel and the IDF, with the potential of them losing land, understanding that the United States backs Israel's actions, the safer we all would be. So to those who ask whether military occupation is bad, I say this. When it comes to Israel, it's not about occupation, it's about responsibility. In a region where chaos and Muslim barbarism reigns for 1,400 years, Israel stands as a beacon of stability. Our military presence, to then be combined with Israeli civilian resettlement in those areas, is not just the safest path forward, it's the only sustainable path forward. We have to stop pretending that abandoning territories creates peace. Doesn't work. It's failed us and it's brought tons of deaths, thousands. We have to acknowledge the truth. An enlarged Israel is a stronger Israel, and a stronger Israel is the key to a more stable Middle East. So thank you, everyone, for watching and sharing our videos, standing with us and supporting the truth, and for understanding the critical role that Israel plays in the volatile region of the Middle East. Together, we can ensure a future of strength, stability, and peace for all by standing up for the truth and the true understanding of the Middle East region and Israel's place in the Middle East, where God placed us to be. We can't complain, oh, why did God place us in the Middle East? No, that's where he put us in order to be able to strengthen and make that region tame, calm, connected to God, and not killing, to then make an impact on the whole freedom-loving world. That's it for today's Pulse of Israel. If you are not yet a subscriber to my daily, belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect truth about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world, what are you waiting for? Sign up on pulseofisrael.com today for the daily video newsletters. And if you enjoy this content, you believe it's important, you want us to reach more people, we need your support. Click on the donate button every once in a while at pulseofisrael.com. It's thanks to your donations that we are able to make our videos and get them seen. We are heavily censored and shadow banned across social media. It's thanks to your donations, large and small, that help us with our work. In the meantime, signing off from beautiful Lakes region in Las Vegas. Looking forward to be home in our ancestral homeland in the beautiful biblical Judean hills. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.